Hey there, let's have a little chart practice together. So I've posted a chart here and I have a couple of questions to the right of the chart. And I'm going to read the questions and also give you the answers. And in doing so, I hope that you get more comfortable looking at a chart. And my first question is, are more planets in this chart in masculine or feminine signs? Well, let's look at this chart. We know that the rising sign is Libra. That's an air sign. And then we have Scorpio, water sign, Sagittarius, fire, and Capricorn, earth. And then in the fifth house, we have Aquarius, air, Pisces, water, Aries, fire, Taurus, earth. Again, in the ninth house, Gemini, air, Cancer, water, Leo, fire, Virgo, earth. Do you see how we have a pattern? It goes, we'll start with the first house, Libra. Air, water, fire, earth. Air, water, fire, earth. Air, water, fire, earth. That becomes important in understanding angles, which we'll learn about later. Let's go back to the question. Are more planets in masculine or feminine signs? Well, I see most of our planets. We have a stellium over there in the 8th house. We've got the Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Mercury in the zodiac sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign. And then we've got Venus over there in Cancer, which is a water sign. The midheaven is not a sign, it's just a point in the chart that is telling you something. Moving on to the moon, we've got the moon in Virgo in the 12th house in an earth sign. So we definitely have almost all of our planets in feminine zodiac signs because earth and water are feminine zodiac signs. Next question, which is really already answered. Are more planets in signs that initiate action or in signs that are the recipients of action? Well, we know that feminine signs are the recipient of action, and masculine signs tend to initiate action. So the answer to that question is most of our planets are in zodiac signs that are the recipients of action. It's more of an internal type zodiac sign. So if we have Mars, which is a masculine planet, wanting to take action in an outward direction, it's going to be hindered by an inward feminine sign of Taurus. So that action really will be taken because Mars is always going to take action, but it's going to be more internalized for this person, as well as Jupiter. Jupiter is a masculine planet and likes to expand and develop things. And if it's in a feminine zodiac sign, it's going to still be Jupiter, but it's going to be turned more inwardly. Mercury, which is a common planet, meaning Mercury will be defined as masculine or feminine based on where it's located. And in this case, it's located in a feminine sign, and it happens to also be located in a feminine quadrant. So it's going to be more of an internal recipient of action type Mercury. So a lot of thinking inwardly. And we have the sun, which is masculine. The sun wants to be itself. It wants to shine. The sun is an important placement in everybody's chart. Wherever the sun is placed, and the topics of that house are topics that will be dealt with on and off a lot throughout this person's life. But because, again, it's in a feminine zodiac sign of Taurus, it's going to be more internalized. So this, to me, is more of a private type person. All right, that's enough of that. Let's move on to the next question. What quadrant are most of the planets in? Well, if from the 12th house to the 10th house, so in other words, 12th, 11th, and 10th, is a masculine quadrant, we have 2 planets that are in a masculine quadrant. From 9th, 8th, and 7th, which most of our planets are, that's a feminine quadrant. So again, we have another layer of the recipient of action influence affecting these planets in this chart. Venus up in the 10th house, which is a feminine sign in, a feminine planet in a feminine sign, is in a masculine quadrant. You know, Venus is going to bring things to itself, to this person that this person likes, which would be probably attention from the outside world or recognition of some sort. But because it's in the zodiac sign of Cancer, which is also feminine, it's not going to be screaming and shouting on the rooftops. It's going to be more more private, but yet it's in a masculine quadrant. So it just means that those houses are seen more, seen more by other people, really. I don't think it's as powerful of an influence as, I know it's not as powerful of an influence as the actual placement of Venus in the 10th house in a feminine zodiac sign, but it is something to consider in evaluating that planet. And then you've got the moon, which is a feminine planet or luminary in a feminine earth sign of Virgo in a masculine quadrant. So you put that together. Feminine, the moon, which is feminine, is very personal. It's your emotions averaged out through a lifetime, and it's in the 12th house, which is a house that really speaks about things that are going on emotionally inside of you to some degree. So this is going to be more of an internalized type placement of the moon. Emotionally, this is a private person. And when we learn about the houses, you'll understand what this means even more so. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Okay, we have a new chart here. I've also included Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune in this chart. What is the planetary ruler of this chart? Not the zodiac sign, but the planetary ruler of the chart. We have to look to the ascendant, which is Scorpio, in the first house, on the first house. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So the planetary ruler of this chart is Mars. Tell me a little bit about this planet. Well, we know that this is a day chart because the sun is above the ascendant and the descendant imaginary line. So in a day chart, Mars is the most malefic planet. So we know right off the bat that Mars is the most difficult planet in this chart. So this person's planetary chart ruler is the most difficult planet in the chart. That means something. It's also a masculine planet, and it's in a masculine zodiac sign, so it does well there. But this Mars is going to be tightly connected to the first house always. Whatever planetary ruler is in a chart is always going to be connected to the personality of the person, because the first house is you, the person. But we'll learn about that more as time goes on. So if the 9th house is education, and it really is other things as well, but let's just focus on education. What might you be able to see with Jupiter there? Well, we know that Jupiter is the benefic of the sect because it's a day chart. Jupiter is always the benefic planet in a day chart. And in this case, it's in the 9th house. Let's just focus on education. We know that Jupiter is a masculine planet, and Cancer is a feminine zodiac sign. So Jupiter wants to expand and grow in the area of education. So this person may love educating themselves. It may be through going up through the ranks to get a doctorate degree, or could be really digging in and loving and understanding and learning about astrology, or something in regards to education, just because we're focusing on education. So it wants to expand and grow, but it's in a feminine zodiac sign, which means a couple things. It first of all means it's going to be more internalized, because feminine, water zodiac signs and earth zodiac signs are the recipients of action. So the action that Jupiter is giving is going to be received by this person rather than expanded outward. We also know that Cancer is a water sign, so water is emotion. So this is going to be more of an emotional type nature, or this is going to be very emotionally rewarding to this person. We also know that Cancer is a cardinal zodiac sign. It is the initiating water sign of the three: Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So you have a lot of things going on here, but you can kind of get a feel for what this placement is telling you once you establish that the focus seems to be education. And the reason why I concluded about education is you have Jupiter expanding things in a feminine zodiac sign, which is more internal. So this is, what could you expand internally that affects you emotionally? And that might be something to do with education or learning. It can also be long distance travel, but in this case, I'm just assuming that it might be learning. I'd have to really, or you would have to really know more about the person and look at things like the fifth house or the third house or the 10th house, just certain things about this person to come to an understanding as to what topic is really a big focus for this ninth house Jupiter placement. And it could be a couple different things at different times in their life. Okay, next question. What gender are most of the planets in? Masculine or feminine? Well, let's take a peek. This chart starts out with Scorpio, so we've got water. And then we have the second house is Sagittarius, fire, and then Capricorn, which is earth and air. Water, fire, earth, and air. Water, fire, earth, and ending with the 12th sign of Libra, air. I see mostly planets in Scorpio. Well, we're going to take out Neptune, which is that middle planet. So I've got Mercury in Scorpio. That's one. I've got Uranus and Pluto are outer planets. They're in an earth sign, but I'm not going to include them in this analysis. I've got Jupiter and water also. That's 2. I've got Saturn in water. That's 3. But I've got Venus and Mars in a fire sign. And I've got the sun in an air sign and the moon in an air sign. So really you have more air sign and fire signs. So this person may tend to be more of an initiating type person, but it's pretty close. So you'd have to look at a bunch of other things in the chart, like, what planets are they? Are they feminine or masculine planets? And how are they acting inside the zodiac signs to understand it. But anyway, that's just kind of an idea right now of how the gender of planets and zodiac signs affect each other. It really gives you another layer of being able to decipher what is being told to you in a chart. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and we will do more chart analysis in the near future. Bye.